Oh, is it okay if we criticise Danny Rohl for that Cardiff result? Welcome back to Where Owls Walk. Lots to talk about this week, including that Cardiff game. We're also going to look ahead to the Christmas fixtures, look at who's out of contract ahead of the January transfer window, and we're looking at the FA Cup draw and which team and which fixture would the Owls love to draw out of the bag this week. Right, welcome back, Andrew, Glyn, and Matt. And before we get going on all our topics, we want to say a massive congratulations to the Wednesday Week podcast for picking up the Gold Award at the Football Content Awards in London last week. Very well deserved, you guys. Great show. And we give all our best to you. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. Obviously, we are 20 minutes. We are a mini version of All Wednesday podcast, but we like to think we can jam as much as we possibly in. So let's get straight into it, Andrew. Are we allowed to criticise Danny Rohl for that Cardiff game?
No. I'm not having it. He's not on the pitch, is he? Okay, he's given directions. He's picked the team. The players have gone out there who should be capable of scoring the goals. I thought Ugbo, playing against his former club, would actually really be up for it. And it looked like he got off to a good start, didn't he? He got a goal, but obviously disallowed, offside. And during the game itself, he had 3 glorious chances to score, and they all went, by the wayside. You can't blame Danny Rohl for bad finishing on the pitch. He can only play with the tools he's got around it in the squad that he's got there with him at the moment. We'll see what happens come the January window. But at the moment, he's picked the side that he thought was capable of beating the team that near the bottom of the table. And I really thought this was it, a chance to follow up and get revenge for a disappointing defeat against Sheffield United. Wasn't to be, but I'm not going to blame the manager. You can't blame the manager. The players just didn't finish the chances. We had 16 shots in that game. What more do you want? We're at home, 16 shots. We just couldn't score.
Matt, the more this season goes on, the more fickle I see that Wednesday fans are becoming, because it literally is becoming sort of 40-60, I think, in terms of these sort of criticisms. So John says it was the wrong starting 11. The subs were too late. The wrong players were selected. It's time the coaching staff chipped in and helped Danny read the game better. So criticism of the coaching staff, not Danny. Rest Bannon on Tuesday, please. Lee Sheffield says, Ugbo can't be dropped and subs brought on too late. Same story every single game. And it does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day in these conversations that we have. Do you jump on board with the criticism of subs too late and wrong selection?
So it's an interesting question, really, because the results on the whole haven't been horrendous. The result of the weekend wasn't horrendous. A draw at home to a Cardiff side who have lost the last 2, but ultimately this is a side that finished 12th last year, and are a side that on the pitch are very, very similar to Wednesday in terms of quality, if not just have a slightly better squad. Realistically, Andrew, I'll go back to the chances that you mentioned about Ike Ugbo. I didn't hear any mention of the Joss Windass miss, which is the worst miss of the lot. Callum Patterson missing from the 8 yards out when there's nobody around him. That's a horrendous miss as well. I feel everybody's searching for answers rather than actually just looking at what the answer is. And this squad needs investment, and it's playing above the standard which it is at the minute. I know that gets boring to pedal out every week, Mark, and that's not great from a content perspective.
No, come on, I want more. I want more.
Yeah. I mean, they're all terrible. They're all awful. God for God. Yeah. That's the truth of the matter. This squad is performing above the level of what is expected at them for the most part this season. It now has come a point where investment has to happen, unless you want to see this slow year-on-year progression where you just creep up the table. But this is what mid-table looks like.
Yeah. For everyone jumping up and down saying how negative can you be, we are going to balance it out in a minute, so don't worry. Let's share one more though. Glyn, Darren says, stop playing Johnson and we might get somewhere.
Do these people actually watch games, or are they? Honestly, and there's always one, isn't there? But no, we, like Matt's just said, we are playing beyond our means with the squad that we've got, and that is down to Danny Rohl. So for me, there's no criticism whatsoever for Danny Rohl. He's doing a fantastic job with what he's got to play with, like we said week before. But we drew against the draw specialist, really, didn't we? And we tried, but we just can't score. And I think when we do crack the nut and we score, I think that'll be probably in January when we hopefully recruit a striker that we start to score some goals. That you look at the starting lineup and you see Bannon on there, Shea Charles on there, Smith on there, Ugbo on there, Johnson on there, and I looked at that team sheet and I thought we're going to get some goals today. For about 27 seconds, I thought Andrew's going to be right. It's going to be 5-0. No, the football's fantastic, Mark. I don't know if you've seen any of the games.
Well, I don't tell you this. I did start watching your game, but actually then realised that the Coventry Sheffield United game was far more exciting. So I ended up watching the rest of that. Sorry.
None of that foul mouth stuff on this podcast. Thank you very much, Mark. No,
it was a good game though. Sorry.
Passages of play and the way we're stringing it together, and it's calm and it's patient. And I think my one and only criticism for Danny Rohl is he wants everything to be pass perfect, and he wants to walk the ball into the net instead of we have multiple chances to strike it from 9 yards, 12 yards, 20 yards, and we don't do that often enough for me. But that's my only criticism. We don't shoot often enough.
Kasama hit a cracking shot, which their goalkeeper made a very good save from. Their goalie actually made some very good saves too, in fairness. But please, let's not criticise Windass compared to Ugbo. Windass, he made the goal for us. He was unlucky with that lob. You'd think he was an open goal. It wasn't a goal. He lobbed the keeper. He just went over to the top of the net. Okay, another time that would have gone in. He was more effective. Windass and Smith were both more effective in that game than Ugbo. Ugbo, I'm sorry, is a lightweight at the moment. I'm sorry, he's not doing it.
Andrew, I'm not debating the fact that neither of those two players have scored 2 goals. I'm debating the fact of at the minute it's because Ike Ugbo isn't scoring. He's the problem. He's not the problem. The problem is the fact that all of our forwards do not score enough goals and we don't create chances for that one forward inconsistently. You're a big champion of Michael Smith. Michael Smith was anonymous on Saturday. He wasn't even in areas to have a shot on Saturday. That's not me being. No, but I would completely argue exactly the same for a player who's been in and out the side as well.
Okay. Let's get the balance readdressed then, shall we? Owls fan says, I love how fans have short memories. We'd be Birmingham losing away at Shrewsbury if Danny Rohl didn't come in and keep us up. Rough patch. How about support instead of digging him out?
Well done.
Fickle fans. And, gone too far there, this one. As we stand, there are 9 teams in a worse position than us in the Championship. Plus, we are in a far better position than we were 12 months ago. These are facts, not fiction. Can I suggest that some of us manage our expectations better? Well said, exactly. Peter Holmes. Andrew, you on board with Peter?
Yes, exactly. We're only 5 or 6 points, in fact 7 points now away from the playoffs. What's the panic stations? We've missed out some points from games we had bad luck decisions from referees. And yes, we should have won Saturday. We didn't win, but it's not the end of the world.
Okay, there was one more in there which I forgot to put up. Matt, Ben says, we need Famio and Baki back. Agree?
One of those players, yes. In Akin Famewo. I will say Max Lowe has been outstanding since he's moved to left centre half. He has been, for everything that Sheffield United fans would parrot about how terrible he is. He's been fantastic for us since he's moved to that left centre back position. The problem, I suppose, that you've got is it does mean that he hasn't got the same strength or the speed, or he doesn't quite read the game as well as Akin Famewo. And Akin Famewo, credit where it's due, I thought that he was going to struggle to get in the side at the start of the year. He's made that shirt his own, and when he's fit, Max Lowe is doing an awfully good job of keeping him out. Olaf Kabatsky, you can chuck him in with Jedi Kasama, Anthony Masaba as kind of Paul Valentin as sort of like a rotational player. Currently, it's an area that we need strength in. He's a good player, but it's basically, can we please have Olaf Kabatsky back so we don't have to bring Callum Patterson off the bench when you need a goal?
Okay.
Yeah.
We are recording this, of course, before the midweek fixture at Hull, and they were hoping that you'd win that, so their manager could get the sack. So do them a favour. Let's look at the rest of the fixtures, shall we? Then, first of all, Glyn. Obviously, managers and players moan a lot about the Christmas period. 9 games in 30 days. Do you have any sympathy?
We're all in the same boat, aren't we? The kind of issue is the strength in depth and the fitness of players is always my concern. Getting injuries but the squad that we've got, I can honestly see a bit of a clear out coming up in January if recruiting goes well. So go for it. Really, I think with like you say, there's a lot of fixtures there, isn't there? But like we've said time and time again, anybody in this league can beat anybody, and we've seen it. And from start to finish, season after season, really. But yeah, the kind of 3 games in 6 or 7 days or whatever it is, it is a crazy period, really.
Okay. Andrew, looking at your fixtures, I don't see any worries on there apart from Middlesbrough away. I think this could be a really good Merry Christmas for the Owls, couldn't it?
Well, we've got to be positive. We've got to go for it now. We know we can't. There's no gimmies. We know all that. But we've got 9 matches there, including the whole game tomorrow night. So 9 matches. We've got to aim for 2 points a game. That's the same old story. If we want to try and push for any promotion, try and catch the playoffs, if you like. 2 points a game. That's what you need to be aiming for. It's the reason why those 3 teams are at the top at the moment. Sheffield, Leeds, and Sunderland have managed 2 points a game. That's why they've got 32 points from 16 games. We've got these games coming up. And I'm looking at those fixtures. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to amass from those 9 matches, including the Hull away game, 18 points. 18 points from those 9 matches are doable. We just got to make sure we get them, and then we could be hovering right close to the playoff positions.
A final question on this one, Matt. Our Derby County fans aren't very happy because of the way that their fixtures have fallen. They actually play Leeds twice in 3 weeks. Now, you have got Preston twice in 3 weeks. So reunion with Mr. Heckingbottom, of course, there. Do you see the unfairness with how the fixtures obviously have fallen? I know you play everyone twice, but to have the same team in such a short space of time, do you think that is an advantage or disadvantage given obviously how it might have fallen for some clubs?
I think it's unfair that in the space of 3 weeks, Mark, I've got to watch 180 minutes of Sheffield Wednesday versus Preston. I'll be honest with you. To be like, it's the way in which the fixtures shake out. I personally, if you're looking at playing like Leeds and people were moaning about playing Leeds, I'd rather play them back to back in 2 games and just get it done and out of the way. Like it's the honest answer. Like we've spoken on here a number of times about the fact that the start to the championship has been quite challenging. We have got a favourable run of games, but then to go back to the point that you raised earlier from Peter, who we talked about managing our expectations. Again, I will always champion your optimism, Andrew. It is 100% to be applauded, but 2 points a game when you're trying to manage your expectations it's just not feasible. Like, again, I don't have a problem with where fixtures fall. It is what it is. You've just kind of got to put up with it. We had a similar issue with, I think, Coventry last year, where we played them we also had them in an FA Cup replay. It seemed that over the space of 3 months, we played them 4 times, which was definitely enough to see enough of one another.
Okay. It usually doesn't mean that you
then Matt yourself in these 9 matches.
7.
7 points from the 9 games.
I am. I think it will be anywhere between. Conservatively, I think it will be anywhere between 12 to 18.
Well, I've gone 18.
All right, let's move that on. Thank you, gentlemen. January transfer window, we'll just start talking about in the next couple of weeks, players going in, players going out. The start of that conversation is, of course, the players who are out of contract at the end of the season, because, of course, new deals might be on the offer table, and, of course, clubs might swoop in and put a cheeky bid on the table in January themselves, given there's only 6 months left on the contract. So, ignoring Shea and James, who are, of course, on loan, Glyn, if you were in charge, the long list here. So with some speed, if you could, run us through which players deserve an extension.
Sell them all and keep Shea Charles. That's it. Game over. I'd keep Marv. Bannon can do what he likes at the club. He can sign his own contract. Pierce, I think we'll keep and we'll send out on loan. Pato will definitely go. And I'd keep Akin for my own Paul Valentin. Michael Smith will do fantastic at League One. He's a League One striker for me. He's the only striker that's scoring his goals at the minute, but he won't do that consistently at Championship level.
Okay, Andrew.
Well, yeah, I'm still going to keep backing Smith. I know he's inconsistent, but look at that goal he scored at Portsmouth. How can you get rid of a player who scores a goal like that? Looking at them, even Shay Charles, I know he's not involved in things, but he was at fault actually for that Cardiff goal on Saturday because the guy lost him and they broke away and that's how they scored their goal. But anyway, no, looking at them, Patterson's the only one who's literally going to be definitely out. The others can hang on in there, but some of them are squad players rather than permanent players at the moment, really.
Okay. Matt?
For Maywo, Paul Valentin, Bannon, Marvin Johnson, Pierce Charles. Everybody else, thank you very much.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Nice and straightforward. Let us know what you think in the comments, by the way, if they've missed anything. Finally, then, is FA Cup third round draw happening before we meet again? So, of course, we'd like to ask this team what they'd like for the draw. Now, unlike other teams who've said, just get us out of the cup, we've got to focus on relegation or promotion. I think Wednesday is a team that could do with a good cup run this season. So, Glyn, who do you want and where do you want them at?
Two sides of the dice for me, really. A kind of lower league club to share the investment sort of thing, the money in the pot. There's a lot of struggling teams out there financially, aren't there? So share that around a little bit. But I've never been to Tottenham's new ground. My daughter would love to see that. I've seen it on the TV, the Netflix, and it's one of the best grounds in the world, isn't it? So I'd like to see Tottenham away, just to visit that ground and soak it up, really.
Okay, right, we'll manifest that for your daughter. Andrew?
No, I definitely don't want Spurs away. Friends of mine support Spurs.
It's on your doorstep, Andrew. You could get to that one.
I don't want my friends teasing me. No chance. Not with going down and getting stuff down there. If we have a London club, obviously it's handy for me. I'd like to have Leighton Orient away. Orient away would be ideal because I'm confident we'd do them. Otherwise, a home draw. Let's go as far as we can in this FA Cup. Give it a good run. Last year was a cop-out. Losing to Coventry, and we could have played Maidstone in the next round. So close, the last four there. We've got to go for it. Home game against the Mickey Mouse Club, please.
Okay, Matt.
Arsenal or Everton. I would like to go to the Emirates because they give you such a massive away allocation. I've not been to the Emirates as a supporter, and it's the last year at Goodison Park. I know as an Everton fan, Mark, that will, it'll be the best stadium in the Championship when Everton are in the league next year. Sorry, Mark, couldn't help myself. But no, I would love to go to Goodison Park because obviously we did draw one another in the FA Cup during COVID, and it was something that I think a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans, when you speak to people and the name kind of like Everton kind of crops up, there is definitely a lot of mutual respect between Sheffield Wednesday fans and towards the club Everton. Aside from that, I don't want anything to do with Man City. I don't want anything to do with Chelsea again. I don't want anything to do with United or Leeds, to be perfectly honest. I would like either. I would like a Premier League club, but somebody who you don't really see. Like a Bournemouth away is going to do nothing for anybody.
Okay. All right, thank you, Matt. You nearly got muted there, by the way, but we wasn't stop it. Okay. Right, let us know what you think. You do realise that because you've got Preston twice in 3 weeks, you know it's going to be Preston away, don't you? That you'll draw.
100%. It happened last season, didn't it?
And just for conclusion, our Sheffield United fans, when asked the same question, 3 for 3, all of them said Wednesday at home because to shut them up. The fact we only beat them 1-0 and they want to batter you 4-0 was their response. So
that's cute.
1993, Grunters, I was there. We'll do you again.
I can't believe they're still thinking about us, man. It's just
you're in their heads. You're in their heads.
Haven't played them yet.
We'll catch you next week when we'll review the whole game and Derby, of course. On Sunday we can watch Sheffield Wednesday again on TV. Sunday game against Derby County. I'll be watching it live. Make sure it's a good one, please. We had a good one at Swansea Leeds this weekend, so don't let us down, please. Sunday viewing.
Sorry, Mark. This has got 0-0 written all over it now. You've said that.
My boss is a Derby fan, so Dan, if you're listening, you're obviously going to beat us 3-0.
No. 4 points next to away. Either beat Hull, draw at Derby, or draw at Hull and beat Derby. We get 4 points.
Okay. Please beat Hull so we can stop talking about Tim Walter on their podcast, please, for my sake. See you next week.